For centuries, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah has been used to hurt people, especially queer people. But what if I told you the story was never meant to be a weapon at all? If you've ever been called an abomination or heard someone use Sodom and Gomorrah to justify hate, you know how heavy this story can feel. I've been there too. The harm didn't come from scripture. It came from the way people twisted it. So how did this happen? How did a story about violence, inhospitality, and injustice become a weapon against queer people? First, you had the rise of cultural bias. So in medieval Europe, the church began equating sodomy with all forms of deviant behavior. But this wasn't biblical. It was political, aimed at controlling the population and reinforcing strict social hierarchies. Then there was colonialism. As European empires expanded, they exported these ideas to colonies, embedding them in laws and societal norms. Sodomy laws became tools of control, not reflections of faith. And then you have the Victorian morality period and the 19th century. The Victorian culture tightened gender roles and suppressed anything seen as different. This era shaped much of the homophobia we still see today, branding queerness as unnatural and sinful. And then as we know it in the 20th century, when the Revised Standard Version was published in 1946 and they introduced the word homosexual, suddenly cultural biases and prejudice had a holy stamp of approval. But here's the part people miss. The story of Sodom was not about queerness. It was about justice, hospitality, and kindness. The Bible's reference to Sodom, whether it be in Ezekiel, Isaiah, or from Jesus himself, consistently called out arrogance, greed, and neglect of the vulnerable. It's a story meant to remind us of our responsibility to take care of one another, not condemn each other. It is time that we stop letting this story be a weapon of hate. The truth is right there in the text. Love your neighbor, welcome the stranger, seek justice, and care for the oppressed. What if we let Sodom and Gomorrah be a story that challenges us to be better, instead of a story that divides us? That's the real takeaway, and it's one we can all learn from. Thank you for watching the series on Sodom and Gomorrah. Next, we're going to dive into a verse that has been heavily weaponized, Leviticus 18, verse 22. We're going to uncover the context, translation shifts, and the real story behind what it says, and most importantly, what it doesn't say. Thanks again. Please support from the bottom up. I would love a follow, and as always, stay rare.